Welcome back, everybody, to Rob's MetalWorks. And tonight, for all you doom metal fanatics, we are delivering the goods. So thank you for tuning in. It brings me great pleasure to continue to support the best in San Antonio metal. And tonight we have doom metal devotees. Yes, the band who's going to bring us all their sacred despair. Yes, I have with me the band Marble Orchard this evening. And it brings me great pleasure to welcome Michael Alcala and Devin Wilson to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Pretty excited, man.
Cool. I'm so glad you guys are here. I've actually been looking forward to this interview for quite some time because, I'm just a fan, bro. And I love what you guys are doing. Nobody else is doing it in San Antonio quite as well. So you guys have a new record. I got it. Michael, thank you as always for sending me your stuff. And I'm like, oh, man, I got to interview this guy again. And we're going to have a hell of a crazy night.
This time we brought a friend.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. So on that note, we were talking downstairs. Michael, it's only been like a little over a year since you were last year.
Yeah, I know.
But it seems like it's been longer, right?
It turns out the depression didn't stop. I had more material to work with.
All right.
So I'm back.
All right.
No, to be honest, the Morbid and Miserable Records, who put out the album, they kind of gave me the deadline, and I need a deadline. I like having a goal, and like, okay, it's done by then. So yeah, they said, if you have something available by the fall, and I think I told you the fall, last time we talked.
24.
Then we could work with you, and then it just turned out to being like, we have too much for the fall. Let's shoot it for next year, and it came out March 21st, 22nd.
Yeah,
and it's got a pretty good audience. It's got a good reception. We've got a lot of plays. We've got a lot of commentary on it. A lot of good reviews. So hopefully people like it.
we're gonna get there, and we're gonna get into the meats and potatoes of your new record, Ruminations in Ruin. But first, I feel, you kind of aforementioned right now, the debut, Building Monuments to Misery. I think that record really kind of set the foundation. It was such a strong debut. It really set the foundation for things that are happening now. And it was so well received. And, when I say that, I'm talking about like beyond the San Antonio metal scene. Yeah. I think it was well received. People enjoyed it, and could relate to it and love the whole, the whole Catholic, the whole aesthetic of the Spanish Catholic iconography. It was so cool, man. I think people loved it. So before we get started, as you look back, how do you feel about that record now?
To me, it's all just therapy sessions. The last time I was here, my brother had just passed away. The album was already finished before he had passed away, so it kind of set the groundwork of what I was envisioning.
Yep.
This new album really delves into the mourning and the headspace that I was in, dealing with that. Because I immediately went in and started taking care of my mother, after he passed away, and started dealing with that. And a lot of what I was going through is completely reflected in each of the songs.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a lot of catharsis. It's a lot of just, this is my journal entries. This is how I feel. This is what I need to get out of my system. And this is the only way I know how to do it. But that being said, apparently a lot of people felt the same way, because it grew legs and it took off running. We got a lot of good reception from it, from all over the world, like you said. I got reviews from a reviewer in Ireland that completely loved it. So yeah,
A lot of Catholics in Ireland.
There's a lot of Catholics. It turns out Ireland's full of Catholics.
Of course it is.
Anywhere that Catholicism kind of runs amok, they kind of appreciate it.
Let's, I remember when we interviewed last year, you were kind of like a one-man show. Now, of course, we're going to talk about the evolution of the band. and I'm glad that Devin is here. So, Devin, I want to give you an opportunity. I know we talked a little bit downstairs, but give the people out there a sense of your background. I know, I'll share with them. I know that you also played in Black Jackal with Michael, but share a little bit about your beginnings up north and how you kind of transitioned into the SA scene.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Fort Worth, born and raised. I lived there till I was about 18, moved to Arlington for a couple of years, lived down the street from Cowboy Stadium, all that. But when I was still in Fort Worth, that's when I met Kyle from Black Jackal, and we started the band up there with Wyatt from Steel Bearing Hand and Tyrant's Might. And eventually he moved back down to San Antonio. I kind of followed, and it really just felt like home already because I knew these dudes before I moved here. Like, I was great friends with Mike before I was even down here, so it really just felt like home. But Black Jackal was really the first serious band I was ever in. I mean, I was in a Death Doom band when I was in high school, and still got love for those dudes, but it was what it was. But from there, I played in Disruptor, an old thrash band. But yeah, that's really the only other band I've played in. But as far as other stuff I've done, I've always played on Mike's projects, like all his Gold Bond records. I would do leads for, and that's kind of how it ended up.
And
here
you did
too.
the leads for Building Monuments to Misery.
Yeah, that's right, and that's kind of how I got with Marble Orchard. Is I would always do the leads, for whatever he needed, and it was always good for me too to, not only be better as a player, but like he said, catharsis. I mean, we all go through our own things in life, and you need that sandbox, and it's kind of the perfect thing for it.
Yeah. Thanks. That's cool, man. And as we were discussing downstairs, you guys are part of the gritty side of the SA metal scene.
You can say that, yeah.
Yeah.
There's two scenes in San
Tell 'em, Mike,
Antonio,
tell 'em.
and they are parallel from one another.
Tell
and they
'em.
will never meet.
One's vest is dirtier than the other.
Yeah, that's how you know.
Yeah.
Look at their vests.
What are we
How
telling?
dirty.
Mike, what were we saying downstairs? You got the gritty side, then you got the good side. And you guys are part of the gritty side. I love all you gritty metalheads out there too. So please, show love to Rob's Metalworks. I really don't see the difference, but as I was telling you too, I want to stay healthy. So no hatred in my heart, no jealousy in my heart. I love it all.
Yeah,
I love it all.
It's all just posturing anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. People just want to seem like hard, right?
Yeah, they want to look cool.
They want to be
for
hard.
friends. And then when you meet these like really hard dudes, they're like, oh, they're just huge softies like anybody else.
I get being passionate, but there's such a thing as weaponized passion.
Yeah. All right. Oh, you want to smoke a bowl? Yeah, we're cool. All right.
Yeah, and then
smoke a bowl.
everybody's friends.
Everybody's friends.
That's really all that it
yeah.
That's all it's needed.
Yeah. One of the things that I do want to emphasize in this interview from the start is, Mike, I remember when we interviewed last year, you were like, you said this a couple of times. You said, Rob, this is a passion project. This is a side project. And now it seems that Marble Orchard has evolved beyond that. So tell me a little bit about how that transition happened for you.
Well, honestly, it's just the way that it was received. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm selfish with my music. Like, oh, this is for me. I'm doing this for me.
Yeah, I remember you saying that too.
You're right. And, that a lot of people connected with it. A lot of my close friends are like, they started talking about people that they lost, and they identified with the lyrics, and they identified with it, and like, man, this is different.
Was that surprising to you?
Honestly, yeah. Because it's like, it goes back to what you were saying, the two different scenes, and they'll never meet. And with the gritty side, everybody's fucking hardened, and you can't show that side of things. You know what I mean? But even though it's still there, when you have private conversations with them, that's the first conversation we have. But you don't put it on Front Street. You know what I mean? And I think that's the difference with his band. It's just like it opens it up to something new. Nobody's really doing this shit that I'm doing. I mean,
Right.
Gothic metal doesn't exist.
Right.
I feel like it's tapping into something that's too honest for a lot to admit, and I think that's why they maybe relate to it.
Also that.
That
Depression and all that, it's a hard thing to admit and come forward about, and we're kind of just hitting it on the head. Here's what it is, and here's how to present it.
dude, that's
Honestly.
so deep, and I think that's so true. Thank you for saying that, Devin. There's so many people who suffer. How many people do we hear about, like, who commit suicide, and we never knew, like, there was something wrong with that dude? Like,
I've known too many.
Yeah. Way
too many.
And even like you were saying, people, even if it's not suicide, just having that constant hatred and that anger or that resentment,
Or they
that
medicate-
sadness, or self-medication, or just
Right.
it manifests in different ways, whether you know it or not.
Right. Yeah, and maybe, and well, surely, that's why people have kind of connected with a lot, especially in our territory where we have a lot of Catholics who were brought who were brought up Catholic, and kind of can connect with, the Hosanna prayer.
Yeah, you can be the hardest motherfucker out there, but you still love your grandma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or when you hear the Hosanna track, you're like, "Oh man, I remember this from church.
I remember this. That's why I put it in there.
I remember this from church."
That whole song, that melody's been stuck in my head since I've been 3-4 years old.
I remember too, Mike, when we talked about how scary it was to see our family members or friends, the impact of religion on them. Like, religion was such a huge part of their lives that it would affect them emotionally.
It becomes all-encompassing sometimes.
Yeah. Do you see a little bit of lessening with that as we are now in 2025?
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not anybody who's religious in any
Right. Me neither.
way, shape, or form, but I can see things that I'm not an idiot. Like, I've grown up with this shit, and I can pull from my experience and pull from my references. But I think that's one of the things that people are losing. Like, nothing is sacred anymore. Nothing is sacred.
Well, everybody has access to everything. Like, right.
So it's like, The Exorcist isn't a scary movie anymore because people don't fear the fucking devil because you didn't grow up with that. You know
The
what I mean?
Exorcist doesn't scare me.
The Exorcist scares the fuck out of me.
My girlfriend did that shit last week in the bedroom.
Bro. I mean, like, I don't know.
It's true.
It's just, that's how I feel it is. People there's just nothing is sacred anymore. Everything is just, nobody gives a shit about anything. Nothing's held to a high regard. You know what I mean?
Well, it goes back to this whole TikTok attention span. Nobody has the ability to read about anything for more than a few seconds before becoming disinterested.
That's why I was kind of iffy about this, the whole Doom thing. I was like, oh, it's a passion project. This is for me because I'm playing like 80 beats per minute, if that. Am I really going to hold people's attention?
Yeah, I mean, true. I mean, but I think it's a lot of the whole atmosphere of what Marble Orchard does that really attracts people, because even though they may not be involved in Catholicism anymore, I think a lot of the the Catholic iconography that they remember in their youth, they just can't let go of it. It's part of it.
That's a lot of bands.
Yeah,
that's like almost every metal band. Like, the whole reason that they have those like satanic imageries is because of the way they were growing up and they want to rebel against that shit, And I totally understand that.
It's me as a child. I mean, I wasn't raised Catholic, but my mom was a Southern Baptist. My dad was like hardcore Pentecostal, and so you want to talk about denominational conflict.
Yeah.
Those are two that definitely.
My girlfriend is still a snake handler.
Wow.
JB got it. JB got that joke.
So, you guys have progressed, and Devin, you were part of the initial project for building monuments, Now, is it safe to say, Mike, that Marble Orchard is a full-fledged band now?
Yeah. At this point,
Talk a little bit about that.
At this point, I've recruited more than just my closest friends. I mean, because I have Devin on everything because I love Devin as a person and Devin as a musician, and I appreciate what he does, and I know that he knows what he's going to do.
Yeah.
I know that he's not going to let me down or half-ass it or anything like that. He's going to take it as serious as I do. So I brought him on board. Of course, Hammer's always been on board too.
Your drummer.
The drummer, right?
You call him Hammer? That's his name?
Yeah, well, I mean we've been calling him since forever.
Why isn't he here tonight?
Well, he's out in Pittsburgh. I always fuck it up.
Oh, okay.
But in 3 months, he should be coming back. We don't know if he's going to land in San Antonio, Austin, Houston, Dallas, where, but he'll be a lot closer than Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So his recordings were done on over there?
He did the recordings over there, sent them over to me, and I did the studio thing.
Okay,
on
we'll
my
get there.
side.
We'll get there. I'm sorry, I just had to ask.
No, you're good. And as far as like other musicians, we recruited Eddie from USO, another one from the grimy scene that doesn't play well with the other scene.
Yeah.
But he's an awesome musician.
And he's on...
An amazing musician. He's playing a rhythm guitar. Well, yeah, I guess you'd call him rhythm guitar. I mean, they're both trained off harmonies and leads, whatever. But an incredibly amazing musician, has a total vision for like stage production. He was telling me things I didn't even think about.
Well, he's the guy who did our music video.
Yeah, he's the one who did our music video.
Yeah, okay.
He did our music video, so and
Cool, because he's already kind of been a fan of it, you know. So he brings in that sort of point of view.
that's honestly the main reason I brought him in, is because I saw how much of a fan he was of it.
Yeah.
And you know, we had a practice the other day, and we went through a song, and even he was started tearing up. It was like, man, this fucking song, dude. Like, I don't know how you write the shit that just like nails it on the fucking head. Like he was thinking about, you know, family that he's lost and friends that he's lost.
Right.
But yeah, I knew then I made the right choice.
Good.
Because, you know, people who are just as passionate about the things that I'm into.
Well, they have to believe in the vision.
Yeah.
And they, you know, if that makes it so much easier. You know, if you recruit dudes, you know, in your band or in your team who believe in the vision of what you're doing, then of course, you know.
Especially with something like this, it's like, yeah, I know we're all Slayer and Deicide fans, but do you want to write some like really fucking like doomy Catholic shit? Like, do you get it? Like, meh.
Yeah.
And then we have our
Andy from Vision Echoes.
Andy.
yeah, he's on bass. He's been fronting that band, and he's probably one of the most well-rounded musicians I've ever met.
Oh yeah.
Plays every genre, like exceedingly well.
He's a great improviser too.
Awesome improviser, can shred. And we have him on bass just to kind of reel him back, because I know he can do more, but I want him to kind of just stay in that
focus
area.
in the bass area,
Right,
bro.
right. But I have him in that position because I know he could do more. And I know he's just going to add more to the conversation.
Yeah. So hopefully, you know, this is a lineup of guys who will continue to stay committed to this band, and you know, it makes me excited for what's to come.
Oh yeah, I mean, like we're all close friends. We've all been close friends for years. So I mean,
That also helps.
yeah. I mean, whenever we get into a room, it's all comfortable. It's all laughs. Just
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that we don't have is a keyboard player. So if you know anybody.
Would you I mean, you're at 5 people already.
Yeah, do we really want a 6? I
No,
mean, right
I
now.
would say no, just backtrack that stuff.
No, that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
that's
just
what we have
backtrack
been
that
doing. We've
stuff.
been doing backtracks. So that's another decision. Like, do we really need it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the people that we recruited, I think I've really locked in a good group of people, good group of musicians, all equal-minded, all have the same vision, know where I'm coming from, and know what I want to do. So,
Mike, what would you say if any? Because I know when we talked in 23, in 24, you had already told me, like, Rob, you know, I'm already working on Ruminations. But do you feel that there was any things that you improved or any musical progressions that you made from building to Ruminations? Anything that you think was better, that you did better on the new record?
I would say vocals.
I was about to say that.
I spent a lot of more times developing the vocals.
Yeah.
And actually doing like harmonies and different, backup vocals and things like that, and just experimenting with different things like that. Because I've never really like led vocally a band that like sounds like this, that's as tempting to do clean singing, and so it opened it up. It's like, oh, I could still like play around with this, a lot more. So I'd say that. But I mean, when I start writing music, I don't know where it's going to end up. I don't know where it's going to end up.
That's the beauty of it, isn't
it? That's why I'm addicted. That's why I am addicted to this shit.
Yeah.
That's why I had to learn production, and I can't stop making music because I'm addicted to it. I love the mystery of not knowing where I'm going to end up when the thing is done.
Yeah.
I'll have a riff, and that thing will grow and grow and grow and change, and it'll become something completely fucking different. And I love chasing that dragon.
Yeah. That's cool, man. You just get, especially if you start focusing and saying, yeah, Marble Orchard is a real thing now. We know we have our vision. Now let's just continue to enhance it. And the more work that you put and focus that you put into that, the better that's going to become. I remember when I first heard this record, and again, thank you for sending it to me so early. I was just like, yeah, there's so like the guitar melodies I think were better on this record. The vocals were definitely better. I think you were singing better, and they sounded more prominent and clearer.
I think my vision was just a little bit more focused. When I first started, it mainly came of like, man, I want to play with this aesthetic that I've been, involved with since I was a kid, and after my brother died, I was like, well, shit, now I got these fucking real emotions, heavy shit that I have to deal with. And I got to put it somewhere or else I'm going to fucking lose my mind. So just having that little bit of fucking, panic just kind of, it creates something a little different. It tempers the steel different.
That's so cool, though, that you have such a deep...
I'm lucky that I can fucking express myself this way. I'll say that.
Well, I think that is true because you have such a deep love and commitment to your brother and your mother, and that has kind of helped drive this music. I put a post the other day. I can't remember for whatever reason, but I thought the theme of the post was like, I love when musicians are suffering because it brings great music out.
It's true.
Once they're not
fucking true.
Once they're not suffering anymore, then the good music stops.
Exactly.
There's a good quote from like D. Snyder, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sitting there trying to write the next Teen Angst song, Beverly Hills, poolside." And I'm like, "What the fuck am I doing? What do I know about Teen Angst?" You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's true. Like, if you're an artist. If you're a true artist and you're going through some shit and you're not producing art, then you're not a fucking artist. I hate to fucking break it to you.
Right.
You're just fucking around on fucking some fucking app. Sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I've been saying it for a long time. Everybody can make music, but not everybody should make music.
Right. All right, let's jump. I want to jump into Ruminations of Ruin. So for all you people out there who have not yet seen the brand new record from Marble Orchard, go ahead and take a good look at the cover art now. It is already out on all music media outlets. It came out back in March of this year. 11 full songs plus the intro. There are some kind of little themey stuff in there too that you're going to love. But I remember when this record came out, the first thing I thought when I was looking at the number of songs, I said, oh, this is the 10 beatitudes of Catholicism.
I tried to do something like that, but with my brother passing all this shit I was going through, I was like, nah, it's not time to do like, tongue-in-cheek, like, oh, nods to this. And I was like, let me just get into the nitty-gritty of how I actually feel. Because the first one, I did the, 7 tracks, and that was the 7 tenets of Catholicism, I think.
Yeah.
And that was, fun for what it was. But this one, I was like, okay, fuck all that shit. Like, I need to talk about real shit.
Yeah.
Things that matter to me.
Okay. But still, the whole Catholicism thing is part of it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, for example, the intro song, Contemplating the Garden of Gethsemane, is a great... To me, it's a great intro song.
For the uninitiated, that is the night that before Christ was to be crucified, and he knew he was going to be crucified, and he had to sit there and deal with that heavy shit. And that was after the Last Supper.
Wow.
It's also, for the record, like, an amazing intro. I love it to
I
death,
love it.
too. Like, because I'm really big into, like, funeral doom and, like, super slow shit. So, like, for me, it was just, like, feeling at home. I loved it, so...
Honestly, it almost didn't end up on the record.
What?
It almost didn't end up on the record. It was just like an idea that was sitting there, and I sent it to our drummer. And honestly, he's had some really good insight. And he's like, "Oh, this is the single, and we need to do this, and we do that." And he's been right. And he was like, "No, we'll just try to write something." So I wrote, what's on the record now, and I sent to him. He's like, "See, I told you, goddamn it."
To me, it just kind of set the tone for
what's about to happen.
It kind of helped the transition from building into Ruminations. Like, this is who we are. Here we go, part 2. And it kind of set the tone for the record. And then you have these kind of 2 interlude tracks within the record. The
I call them like
Hosanna.
I call them the soundscapes.
The Hosanna, which is really cool. Because like I was telling you downstairs, I remember that prayer in Mass. And then the Mea Culpa with all its chant and chimes, which is a little bit more... When I hear that stuff, it's like medieval Italian kind of stuff.
Yeah, Spanish cut.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been a fan of Typo, obviously.
Sure.
Since I've been like 6 years old, and they kind of put it in my head as like, you could have skits. You can just build on the aesthetic and the atmosphere of the album, so that when the song does hit, it's that much more heavy.
Yeah.
And that just was like a fucking eye-opener for me. And I've been doing that since the Goat Bong days. Like, I always need to start the album and introduce the world that we're in.
Yeah.
And, reintroduce the same type of themes that are outside of the song. I think it helps. A lot of bands don't think about albums because we're in 2025 and Spotify's fucking God and everybody's bows to that shit. But there used to be these things called albums. And another thing called concept albums, where the
that's
whole
even
thing,
worse.
The whole thing would be about one theme, and you would sit there and enjoy the whole thing, and you wouldn't fucking split it up. Yeah, that's what people used to do back in the day before Spotify.
And we're gonna get there because we're gonna talk about marketing strategies, but yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things too that I relate to as an old school guy is that. When I listen to your record, to this record, it's like I want to hear the whole thing through. And even if I'm just one of those people that wants to listen to a track or two, even just a track can be considered an opus because how many songs in the 2020s run 5 to 6 minutes long? Yeah.
How many of them should run about half that long?
Yeah, well, most of them do nowadays. So if you're listening to a track that's 5 to 6 minutes long, it has to really grab you by the boo-boo and say like, yeah, like, and it does, and that's why I think I'm such a fan.
People used to invest in bands and invest in albums. Because they used to have like pay money for them, so it's like, well, fuck, I better get my money's worth and listen to the whole fucking thing,
Well, it's like I love long songs. I love long form music. I'm a big fan of improv jazz. I'm a big fan of like prog rock, Rush and Yes and King Crimson and all that. So like long form music is really really cool, but you had better make it worth it. Yeah. You'd better keep it interesting because if not, then you just lose them. If you confuse them, you lose them.
So you always got to go back to the main riff.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm a huge proponent of the riff.
The main riff
is everything.
It goes back into the old musical idea, theme and variations. Yeah.
Call returns, and you play around with the same motifs and bring them back later in another song, or there's so much shit you could do and play around with when you think about a whole album.
Yeah.
And you pull your fucking head out of your ass and stop thinking about like, well, TikTok said I only have 2 minutes, so I better just write something really quick.
Right,
that.
right. I can't wait till later, and we're gonna continue this conversation, but we're gonna be stoned.
Oh, I know that.
And it's gonna get real deep. Mike, I know that you're so well seasoned and a veteran. So correct me if I'm wrong. You recorded your stuff at Grave Obsession, which is your studio.
It's literally my bedroom.
Yeah. Let me
I
tell
drove all the way to Grave Obsession Studios.
Exactly. Let me tell you something, though, that I noticed about this record more than on the debut is that I could really hear the differential in the mix. I thought the mix on this record was so well done. Like, man, I love hearing the bass in there and the keys, and I just thought it was far superior than on Monuments.
I'm always learning. I feel like everything I record gets a little bit better than the last thing. And that's the whole reason why I'm constantly recording, because I like to work on my craft. I like to sharpen my swords. And I want to fucking get better and better and better and better. And that's the fucking goal. I mean, if not, what are you fucking doing?
Right.
Like, if I'm going to take on the mantle to record, and not only record my music, but entrust other people to believe in myself, then I better be on my fucking A game. Yeah. And I better know what the fuck I'm doing. If not, then I'm just wasting everybody's fucking time. And I feel like, there's always room to learn. You should never be satisfied. You should never be fucking like, okay, I'm good now. I know everything that needs to be learned. Because it's always evolving. It's always changing. And that's one of the reasons that I can't stop making music and working, because I want to produce and I want to play around with new apps and I want to just do new shit. And I think it reflects well because, I mean, here we are. I've gotten this far doing what I'm doing on my own. And a lot of people give me shit. It's like, oh, well, you ever thought about, having somebody else master and going into a studio? And like, why would I trust anybody else in doing the shit that I'm passionate about?
Sure.
This song, this album is for me. This album is for my brother. Why would I go pay somebody else $300 who doesn't fucking get it? Simple as that.
Right. And I think that for as deep as you love your craft, that's the right choice.
I mean, anybody who's in metal better love their fucking craft. I mean, if you're just fucking here for fucking dick and fart jokes and to get laid, that's cool up for like a year.
I mean, we're definitely not doing it for anything other than the music, because there's nothing else to fucking do it for.
Right, seriously.
Are we getting money? Hell no. Are we getting fame? Fuck no. And I don't want it anyway.
Yeah, I had that conversation with Joe. It's like, oh man, what do we have to do to be a band? I'm like, anything, just do not be a band. Learn a trade. Learn how to weld.
Right.
And they're like, well,
be a plumber.
But you guys get paid well, all right? I'm like, I hate to tell you, but being a band is like...
I would have lied. I was like, yeah, bro.
Being a band is like taking all your money that you have in the bank, pulling it out, putting it in a pile, setting it on fire, and then convincing your friends to do the same shit. Hey, you want to throw your fucking money on that pile?
I lose more money in music than I gain.
Exactly.
But that's just
But
what it is. If you have the passion for it, then, it is what it is.
But if you're passionate about it, you'll fucking deal with it. Yeah.
I know that Colin Rios, who we were talking about downstairs, did the drums on the first record.
Hi, Colin.
Did Hammer do the drums on the new record, or did Colin?
Oh no! Hammers has done all the drum work since the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Colin is our drummer for Black Jackal.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay, I got it now. So Hammer did the recording for the new record. And let me ask you this: as we talk about Grave Obsession, do you record any other bands? Do you, if someone came up to you and said, "Hey, I want you to record us"?
I've had a few offers, but since my brother passed away, I've had to move back in with my mom, and that doesn't really give me the opportunity to have fucking random dudes in there making metal and making noise. So I've had to put that on hiatus, and I've kind of just done it for our own sake. But in the past, I recorded our friend Justin's band. He was doing Black Blood, Hell's Blood, sorry. And I don't think anything came of it. I think it was just kind of like something he wanted to do, and I don't think he released it. I've got offers to, from people wanting to do something. Tristan, we were talking about him earlier. He had a project he wanted to do, and I don't think it ever came to fruition. Or I think I might have just told him, like, hey, guy, I don't really have the time right now. I'm taking care of my mom, and I don't even have a place to set people up.
Right. The first
I'd
single.
like to. Don't get me wrong. Once I get established again, like, yeah, please hit me up. I need the fucking work.
Sure. I mean, that's always a good opportunity to help the scene, help young musicians, and, get a little bit of fucking reward for yourself.
For sure.
The first single, Seven Swords, Seven Sorrows, came out in January. That's right?
Yeah, I think it was January.
Yeah, January 2025. I always love how you guys do it, though, because...
That's another song that almost didn't make the record.
What?
That was another song.
And then it became the first single?
And it became the first single because of the fucking drummer.
What?
He believed in it. He was like, nah, dude, that's the one. You need to go back and, like, reevaluate because that's the one.
I'm going to have to bring Hammer here for his own interview.
Yeah, seriously. He's got better vision than I do.
I was like, Hammer knows what's up. Yeah. Great song. I love that song. And I remember when I first heard it, I was like, oh, yeah, this is great. And I knew that this record was going to be just as great as Monuments or better, and I just like, oh, man. And then you guys, I love how you guys, too, and we talked about this last year, Michael, where you release a single and then you say, like, oh, here's the artwork for the single. Right. It's just not like we're just throwing this out there. Because I think the visual is so important, especially for what you're doing. So I love the altar with the candles and stuff for Seven Swords, Seven Sorrows.
Just wait till we play live.
I can't wait.
The
I can't
live
wait.
show is going to be a whole different fucking animal.
We're going to get there, and I can't wait. I better be on the guest list wherever you are.
I got you, brother.
+3.
I got you.
Just kidding. I have, and was the second single When Night Gives Way Today?
Yeah, I believe that was.
That was the second single, right?
Uh-huh.
Another amazing track, and I remember when I was thinking today as I was getting prepared for this interview, I was like, probably about 90% of the time, the first single that bands come out with, I'm like, oh man, why did you choose that one? You should have chosen this one.
Yeah.
This is a better song. But you know what? Today, when I was thinking about the singles that you guys chose, I was like, oh,
No, they
they
nailed
hit it right on the head. They chose the right fucking tracks. So yeah, seven Swords is great. When Night Gives Way Today is great to me. I love that song even more. And I thought like, wow, yeah, they knew what they were doing. I love the Come Wander With Me, which you told me, Rob, is a cover.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
Nobody realizes that's
I didn't realize it either.
It's a cover song.
From who?
It's from Bonnie Beecher.
Pues por eso.
Yeah, who knows who
Who's
the fuck
Bonnie
Bonnie Beecher except for Mike. So I'm a huge fucking Twilight Zone fan. And I believe it's
Really?
season 5, episode 8. No, I'm
Oh,
kidding.
God.
No, there's an episode called Come Wander With Me. And it features like this song. This song is like, the whole episode is based around this song. And I have this habit of waking up like at 4 or 5 in the morning. And the only thing I think of doing is smoking weed and watching Twilight Zone.
Oh, no.
So I watched this.
Because you can't go back to sleep or what?
No, fuck no. Like once I'm awake, I'm awake. I don't nap. If I'm asleep, I'm asleep. If I'm awake, I'm awake. So I watched this episode at the fucking butt crack of dawn, like smoking weed, and it just was speaking to me. And it was saying everything. I was like, holy fucking shit, this song rules. And I was wondering, like, man, I need to learn it. I need to do a cover. And finally, I have this fucking band that I could actually fit it in there, and it makes sense. So I had to end the whole album with it. You know what I mean? And I think it has that feeling. It speaks to a lot of what I was kind of saying throughout the whole album. And it just, I didn't have to shoehorn it in. It just kind of fit in perfectly, and it was a good way to cap the whole album.
That the way that it was done, though. I mean, I just think with the piano, and then you hear the rain dropping in the background.
I think it was good to
which is so cool.
No guitars, no drums, just a vocal,
Nope.
piano, and some rain effects.
And some rain.
And it because the whole album is very personal. It's all personal. You get to fucking deal with all this shit I'm dealing with.
I think you hit a home run there with that one, bro. I really love it, and as much as I love the power chords and the crunch but
you can't be that guy all the time.
I can't. No,
You can't.
No.
The guy who's constantly like fucking on 11, even when he's showering and taking a shit, that dude is the fakest dude you will ever meet.
Those are all the metalheads on the gritty side. Right? That's why they hate us.
No comment.
Because, we're diversified.
We all cried at the Cure in the
Yeah.
It's all right.
I also have to mention When Everything Is Lost, the acoustic track. I think that one is cool too.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite ones.
Devin was like, that's one
Talk
of his.
about it, Devin.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Grab the mic, bro.
because Mike was always asking me like, "Yo, what are all these like weird chords I could play around with?" Because I'm like, look, man, I'm a fucking nerd, all right? I'm a guitar player, and being a nerd's natural. So I'm always into like weird theory shit. And I'm always telling him like, play around with it, play around with some weird.
I approach like music like, oh, there's like a hidden formula. Like you're not telling me like what do I gotta know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, there's no formula. Like just play around with it, see what you can come up with. And he totally took that advice, and I was like just fucking blown away by it. And I think it's one of the most beautiful things.
It's a
written.
great track.
I think Mike has a penchant for just writing things that really tugs at heartstrings. Yeah, I know. Stop making me cry, asshole.
No,
It's all about tonal music, not modal.
Exactly, but no, I mean, but it's gorgeous. I love it. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite songs.
good song. And also, when we get into the heavy side, I think Anti-Mirth is the one that I love the most.
Oh yeah,
Very heavy, a lot of guitar. I love it.
Misty.
Honestly, that was like.
Don't tell me again that song was gonna make the record.
It almost did.
Mike, shut the fuck up.
I was like, I don't
All
know
the songs
about
I love
this
you're saying,
one.
they weren't
This
gonna
one's-
make the record.
This is kind of weak, and then I
Just
shut
throw
everybody.
the whole record away, man.
Yeah, really. That guy I record the whole record is like, nah, I don't like it. Delete.
Anti-Mirth is a great song, super heavy. I love the heavy guitar chords in it, and it just like the opposite of what the acoustic track is. It brings out I want the brutality, and that is what that song gives me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that song was like me kind of like reveling in the darkness. Like, this is my fucking territory. This is where I fucking dwell, and I'm okay with it. A lot of people are like, oh, like, it'll get better, and like, you just got to be positive. Like, what's wrong with fucking having emotions and dwelling in your fucking, bullshit so you get out of it?
To me, it's better to just feel it, get it the fuck over with.
Yeah.
Rather than just sitting there hiding behind a mask of your own fucking macho bullshit. It isn't gonna do good for you or for fucking anybody. You might as well feel it and get it over with.
Yeah, to be honest.
All you gritty metalheads, listen to that. Hear that?
No.
Metalheads, get the fuck over yourselves.
Exactly. Stop hating.
Go practice your fucking instrument first and foremost.
Exactly. Oh my god. I love it. Okay, Mike. Let's get deep now because you've kind of foreshadowed some of the lyrical themes. Let's talk about the title and get a little deeper on the lyrical themes. Has a red heifer been sacrificed yet?
Is that what we talked about last time?
No.
I'm pretty sure I brought it up because I've been.
I don't know, Mike. I don't know.
No, it hasn't been selected yet.
Is the end of the world upon us?
The red.
Well, I
heifer-
noticed though. Hold on, Mike. What I noticed was I remember. Yes, we did talk about the red heifer.
I know we did.
And you were like, Rob, if the red heifer is sacrificed,
we're fucked.
then we're fucked. The end of the world is coming.
You better wait for Gabriel's trumpet.
And then when I saw the cover art from the fucking record, it's all red. I'm like, oh shit.
He got it.
I get it, of course.
He got it.
Come on.
Yeah, the first album was all blue. The second one's all red. to
Yeah,
reflect the red heifer.
Mike, come on. I've been doing this for a long time. I get it.
Somebody's getting the Easter eggs now. Okay.
Like Baroness, you're gonna have the red album, the yellow album.
Also, Mike had a frame of thought too.
Yeah.
But no, I just love all that shit. I just love all that deep shit. Like, this is prophecy. Like, we're gonna fucking make Armageddon happen.
I think it's happening, bro.
Oh, for sure. know what pisses me off is all these fucking Christians and Catholics who have been just shoving religion down everybody's throat and be like, you gotta watch out for that Antichrist. Metal's gonna fucking turn you. And there's a literal fucking Antichrist in power, and they're just all just like, yeah, that's my guy. What have you been studying for? You failed the fucking test. You failed.
I'll say this:
God is angry.
Nothing drove me away from Christianity quite like the church did. So there you go.
Well,
you know what?
That's also true.
Devin, there was a time when I felt like that, and especially when like all the priests were getting busted for child molestation.
Also
and stuff.
fucking.
I remember, dude. Seriously, my mom always asks me, even to this day, Mijo, have you gone to church? When was the last time you went to church? Right, babe? She always tells us, like, when did you go to church? Have you gone? You should go to church. And I remember, like, this was many years ago, like, when all the whole scandals were coming out about the priests and molestation. I was like, Mom, I said, I can't, I don't want to go to church. I can't support that. Yeah. You know, that's just not me anymore. I can't do it. Yeah. And I stopped going to church. I just stopped.
And I remember this is still like something I remember to a T. It's probably the most informative experience of my young life was being 10 years old and being in Sunday school. And we were learning about like Calvinism in high school, like in school. And it was like, you know, the idea that, you know, God has a plan for you. Because I always heard that shit as a kid. God has a plan for you. And I went to Sunday school one day, and I just asked a question. All I said was, so if God has a plan for you, why do people pray for him to change his plan? And they looked at me as if this was fucking blasphemy. You know, got kicked out of Sunday school, wasn't allowed inside back in the church that day, got my ass whooped. You know, and I'm just saying, like, I think that was the most informative experience of my life because I never forgave the church after
because
that. I never understood religion. I never forgave that shit.
You didn't fail them.
That's you felt the
the same shit happened to me,
and I know it too. And it's to this day why I don't buy religion. I don't buy it. I don't buy into the shit. Yeah. Am I spiritual? Yes, in my own sense, and it took a long time to come back around to that. But not under the guise of some set of fucking rules that someone else gives you. Yeah, I never thought of spirituality as being that way. It should be something that services you. And if it doesn't, then it has no use.
Right.
Also, it just kills fucking curiosity.
It does.
Oh, you know, how was the world fucking created? Oh, God did it. That's it.
Yeah.
No further explanation. Yep. Science? Nah, don't need it. God did it.
Right. Right, Mike. What does the title mean? Rumination of Ruin.
Ruin.
Alliteration.
Alliterations of assholes. Shit. Honestly, it was just one of those titles. I always have titles just kicking around in the back of my head sometimes. Like, man, that sounds cool. And honestly, Ruminations of Ruin is kind of it reflects on how I am a lot of time. I fucking dwell on shit and I think about
negatively.
Negative, yeah,
definitely
negatively.
Say it,
not positively.
Say it because
I'm not
I
here
deal
fucking...
with someone who like is you know. There's some people that just always think negatively about shit.
It's not me being pessimistic. It's me thinking of every possible fucking scenario that could possibly happen. And me dwelling on every, well, did I do that right? Well, did I say that right? Did I breathe weird there? Like, that type of dumb shit I've been dealing with since I've been a kid. I've been, like, diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, which apparently means that your fucking brain just doesn't deal well with emotions and shit like that. So I just jump from extremes. So I have to dwell on shit and figure things out.
Oh, my God. Don't drink any more vodka.
No, I will not. That's why I switched to seltzers.
Let's move on. And one of the things that I've noticed too, and we talked about this downstairs, is that this record has gotten a lot of attention, and people in the industry, especially in the publicity area, are paying attention to this record. You guys have gotten a lot of reviews on this record, from international reviews on this record from all over, and they've all been positive.
Oh yeah.
I don't think anybody was expecting a goth metal album in 2025.
I think, you know, and you know what? It's because nobody's doing it as good as you guys are.
Yeah.
I'll
Or just
blatantly
at all.
say that.
I mean, like, you know, the last time goth metal really was like a big thing or like a new thing was like, you know, maybe the 90s. Like, you know, if you think of like early Paradise Lost or like My Dying Bride or like Anathema or all the old Peaceville bands. Like,
Yeah.
You know,
And that's always, I was like, oh, you sound just like old, My Dying Bride or this.
Yeah.
It's cool for me because, you know, I love all that shit. But, you know, it definitely, I didn't expect that, you know.
Well, who would have expected that Mike writes shit like Typo Negative? He's been a fan since 5 years old. That's all I've known.
Wow. Yeah. I'm so happy to see that too. You know, when I read the reviews that you share on your socials, I've gone in there and I've read them, and you know, they're from all over the world, and I'm like, oh man, I'm so happy for these dudes that they're getting the recognition that they deserve for delivering what they're doing. So
I'm just happy that they get it because there's really not a whole lot of like, you know, doom metal going around these days, or at least doom metal that's not derivative as fuck, and like, you know. It's really cool that people appreciate it and see what he's doing.
I just think that they recognize the honesty in it.
I'm just as big a fan of this music as anybody else's.
I think too, we, you know, because we live here in San Antonio, we have to also remember and keep in mind that the scope of heavy metal goes far beyond than the scope of what we
Perceive in the day-to-day.
here in San Antonio.
Yeah.
I wish I could go to Germany. I wish I could go to Spain. I wish I could go to Italy and you know, see that their scope of metal. There was a guy, because of the Billy Milano interview, there was this guy who messaged me from Italy. He said, Rob, here's our music. Check it out. He sent me MP3s, bro. He sent me downloads. He said, check it out, bro. Check it out. And then I said, where are you from, man? He goes, we're from Sicily. And I said, where's that? He goes, South Italy. Yeah. And they were a thrash metal band. He sent me some MP3s. And I can't remember the name of the band. And but it was fucking great, bro. It was fucking great. And I told him, I said, oh, man, thanks for sending me these tracks. I'll post something sooner or later. And, you know,
I don't know. I feel like that sometimes the U.S. gets like very close-minded about the like metal and shit. Yeah. Like the only thing that anybody seems to give a fuck about is like brocore beatdown bullshit. And if you're into that, cool. I guess.
Well, you know what I mean? Like down tune, fucking blah 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 da 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 da.
Like lame fucking knocked loose bullshit.
It's just the riffs that don't go past the 5th fret.
There's no money above the 12th fret. Remember?
I mean, yeah, obviously, but it's because the shit that's going on. I don't know. It just a lot of this shit. It's like pretending to be like emotional, like, oh, we have integrity and we care about things, but it's just the most banal fucking cookie cutter shit that sounds like anything else out there.
See, that's my thing with any form of music it is. I don't care if it's metal, I don't care if it's psych rock, jazz, fucking blues, whatever it is you play it like you fucking mean it.
Yeah.
And people can tell when you actually
You're
mean
faking it. Yeah.
Oh, I want to sound like integrity. You did it. Now what?
That quote from Miles Davis: "To play a wrong note is excusable. To play without passion is not." And you can tell when someone does and when someone doesn't.
Yeah. And I'm very good at that. I'm very good at being able to tell who's faking and who's not. And
apparently, metalheads are not, because they fall for it hook, line, and sinker.
well, you know, a lot of these young bands nowadays, you know, they have these kids at the shows. You know, we're vets. You know, we've been there. We've been through the trenches. We know what's legit and what's not. And those are the bands that are on Rob's. You know, I can't even tell you how many people send me their stuff. Like, oh, we want an interview. I'm like, you're not ready, bro.
Really fit the bill.
You're not ready. Well, just that they're just not ready.
Yeah.
do another record or two, and
Well, no,
we'll
a lot
see.
of them are just like clout chasing. Like they only exist for 3 to 6 months to fucking make 27 different shirts and a 3 fucking song EP, and that's their whole career.
Yeah, exactly.
If you got more shirts than you do songs, you're a brand, not a band.
Exactly. Might as well go to fucking Instagram and call yourself a fucking influencer.
Let's
Get
talk-
the fuck out of my scene.
Mike, let's talk about the deal with Morbid and Miserable Records. How did that happen, and where are those guys from?
They are from Toledo, Ohio. Toledo, Ohio.
Wow. Okay. And how did you hook up with those dudes?
Honestly, because I was just throwing shit at the wall and see what would stick.
Yeah.
Because nobody's doing this type of music. I don't know how people are gonna fucking feel about it. So I was talking to everybody and anybody who would take me, and I got as far as Century Media.
I remember
And
you
he-
saying that last year.
And he was about it, but everybody bows down to the almighty algorithm. So, where's your Spotify numbers
Right.
and shit like that?
Fucking 10,000 followers.
Yeah.
Well, you don't already have a fucking established crowd that follows you to every show. Well, what the fuck is the point of a label then? What do I need you if I'm making that much fucking plays?
Exactly.
And if I got that much fucking following, why do I need you?
Exactly.
So-
I agree. And
I think they don't realize that the shit is changing and we don't need labels anymore.
just
Media been for the underground.
Well, that's also true.
there was a time when Century Media was for the ground. Many years ago, my friend. Many years ago.
And maybe that's true. I don't know.
That is true. Many years
Devin's
ago.
only been on this earth for 27 years, so
But
We were saying I started Rob's before you were born.
hey, I mean that's fair.
But there was a time. But let me tell you, as our scene and not only the scene but the industry has evolved. It's like, sure, the record labels are in it to make money, bro. They're in it to make money.
But to me, it's like an insurance fucking company. You're just a middleman. You're just there to fucking make bank off of other people's fucking talent.
Of course.
Because
And then
it's 2025, I can talk to the fucking people you're talking to just as easily.
And I think that's what makes this era so special is because now, not only are record labels going to go under, fucking engineers and producers are going under because bands can record their own
do
shit.
it my fucking
I can
self.
do
What
it
do
my
I need
fucking
you
self.
for? Because you're just gonna make me sound worse. I know what I want to sound like. I'm not pressured to fucking do exactly my vision in like 6 hours because that's all I paid for.
I remember one time I interviewed a producer guy in the sound, and I won't say his name, but it was like, Rob, stop saying that I cost too much. And
Sorry, buddy.
sorry, buddy. If you're charging a
titties,
lot
said the kitty.
to record a band, and now there's software out there that bands can do it themselves.
That's the shit that pisses me off because everybody wants to be a Luddite. There's too much apps and there's AIs and this and that, and we need to keep it pure. But when it was pure, you fucking sucked at it. That's why we moved over, because you sucked and you didn't put the fucking time in. You didn't learn properly, and now that people that have a choice, you're mad about it. So
I think
to suck.
honestly, I'm gonna say this. I don't give a fuck.
say it, dog.
I think there's only one producer in our scene. One guy in our scene that I said, if you wanted to spend money to go record at his studio, there's only one dude that I would say do it, and that's Chris Mora.
Which studio is that?
I forgot the name of his studio, but he's just Chris Mora. Chris Mora not only is an engineer, he's a musician.
Fucking matters.
I've
I've talked to producers who don't play fucking music.
No. That's what,
It's like talking to different languages.
Michael. Those guys aren't producers. Those guys are engineers.
There you go.
Okay, Chris Mora is an engineer and a producer. A producer is like, you're like,
They can develop your ideas.
I don't know how to fucking get past this little bridge here to get to the main riff. Yeah. And Chris is gonna say, "Give me my guitar. Let me show you."
About this?
Let me show you. Yeah, exactly. Chris Mora is a guitar player, a songwriter, and a producer.
And there's a
on
serious
top
side
of being an engineer.
Sometimes that's a good thing. You know, you need somebody to tell you, when things go on too long. Or meander somewhat. And, we've definitely had our share of that, especially with Black Jackal in the early
He's
days.
the only dude in San Antonio that I think is worth cash.
Even Bob Rock had the balls to tell Hetfield, hey, that's too much E. Too much fucking E in that shit.
Kirk Hammett, hurry up and play
And you know what?
guitar already.
And you know what? That record is still making them money.
There you go. You may
Don't even get me started on Metallica and the Black record, bro. Come on. Oh, man. Okay, let's move on. Where can fans get the record?
Where can we get the record? Well, they can message the Bandcamp directly.
Because there's some people like me who want hard copy. Thank you, Michael, for bringing this to me.
Of course.
Even though I've had the digital tracks.
Morbid and Miserable.
You can hit up our Bandcamp. We have some directly through us. You go through the label at Morbid and Miserable, both through bandcamp.com. And that's for the CD version. And if it gets enough headway, we can maybe look into doing a vinyl. Because
I'd love for you to do a vinyl.
That's how labels work.
And if you do a vinyl, I want one, and I'll buy it, Michael. I'll gladly buy it from you. I know vinyl's not cheap. I'll buy a vinyl. That's why I asked you if you had vinyls of the fucking monument, because I was gonna tell you, bring me one and I'll pay you for it.
No, I mean,
you saw my record player downstairs.
We've been trying to get vinyl press for Black Jackal for years. It's just one of those things. It's an investment. If you don't buy like maybe at least 100 or 1,000, you're not really gonna make an investment back by selling them. So
yeah.
Do you feel hard? I mean, obviously, do you feel hard copies are still important?
Absolutely.
In this day and age?
Absolutely.
I mean, I
agree with you.
I only buy vinyl.
Man, my thing is with Spotify, Apple Music, all that, you're only buying the rights to listen to it through their app.
Right.
You're not actually owning anything. Once the apocalypse comes and the internet crashes,
you're fucked,
and nobody knows what the fuck to do with themselves. Hey, guess what, asshole? I still got a fucking CD player. So there you go. Or some people still have record players, or whatever it is they have. Devin, they have that music forever.
Devin, I hear you, and that is why. On my phone, my phone's a 250 gig iPhone. I have all my music on this phone. Yeah. All my music on this phone. I never stream.
Yeah, any media that I care about, I will pay for it.
Yeah.
I have the complete Mystery Science Theater on DVD.
Oh my god!
Even though it's on every goddamn streaming platform you can ask for, I need to own it because when the shit hits the fan, Daddy will still have his Atmosphere Decay.
And I've seen it all.
Let's talk about something that's become so prevalent in this day and age, and that is social media. I know you guys have Facebook, even though it's not that lucrative for you.
You gave me shit about that last time. You need a Facebook.
You need a Facebook, bro. I know you guys have Instagram.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about social media, and how do you approach it?
I fucking hate it.
Michael, but it's a part of the equation now.
Yeah, but it's a full-time fucking
job. It is. You're talking.
Hey, not only do you have to be talented enough to write a full fucking album, but you better also have the fucking chops to deal with fucking a PR firm and its social media relations and dealing with schmucks on the fucking internet who tell you, like, are you really a Catholic band? You shouldn't be singing about things like that if you're not. Mind your fucking business.
Those are all the haters, bro.
Don't get me wrong. It's cool to learn skills like that and definitely, just build yourself as a person who knows all this shit. But at the same time, man, is it fucking exhausting.
It is.
Exhausting. It's cool because you can hear directly from your fans, and it's like, holy shit, people do give a fuck.
And that's what makes music like this even cooler than it already is the fact that it's so deep, introspective, and just interactive like that. The people who get it fucking get it,
But there's also schmucks out there who are like, well, can you just tell people that you are a Catholic band? Like, what the fuck? What is that going to serve any? I don't know. that's neither here or there. But I just had a message, and it really annoyed me for some schmuck to tell me how I needed to find my music that I
that's the
fucking made.
thing about social media is that you open the gateways to feedback. Some of it's positive, like I love what you guys are doing. Some of it's critical. Some of it's just stupid.
Oh, I don't mind critique, but you better have a fucking reason and just not just be talking out of your fucking ass.
And a lot of people do. I mean, that's the thing. But the thing is about social media is that, I think it does serve a purpose. It does serve a purpose to keep people, your fans, or prospective fans.
I wouldn't have the audience I have now if it wasn't for social media.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? It gives you an outlet to a lot of shit. But it also gives you an outlet to a lot of shit.
Yeah, of course. But the thing is that everybody, that's just not just you, Mike. That's everybody has to deal with that, You have
to go into a fake virtual world. You enter a fake virtual world and then you hope that you pull something real out of people. And sometimes that's kind of difficult to gauge.
Yeah. Social media is important. And I think you guys lack a little bit in that area.
For sure.
I'd love to see you guys get a little bit more involved, like, maybe, Devin doing guitar playthroughs or maybe recording some of the recording process or, stuff like that.
Because I made a TikTok just be like, okay, here's another avenue. We got to do little shticks for the fucking, you gotta
do it, man.
The brain rot society and something, short, concise. So, yeah, definitely. We need to do some playthroughs.
You got to do it, things. You got to do it.
Some lyric videos, things like that.
Yeah.
You got to do it. It's just part of the game now.
Yeah,
that's just it. And
it comes with the territory.
It just comes with the territory now. And you know what? I've seen bands who are really good at it, and it benefits them. And then I've seen bands who are not so good at it, and it's it's not detrimental, but it's not helping them. It's not helping them. Social media is important.
It is important, and maybe we're just dinosaurs in that aspect where we're just like fuck the new way of doing things,
Exactly.
But it's. We get it's important.
Yeah.
And definitely we could be more proactive at it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make it less exhausting, man. Just being real about it.
Jesus. Guys, we talked about this downstairs, and I know that you guys haven't done any live shows yet. Michael, you were saying that there may be an opportunity for next year. Talk about that.
Well, with this band, I always said I don't want to play every weekend. I don't want to be a dive band that you could just catch at some local show.
Right.
It's a little bit more important than that. And I think that people realize that, and we have an opportunity early next year. Our first show will be on a festival, major festival.
Tell us who it is.
I cannot.
Why?
I don't want.
I'm gonna say
nothing's been announced. Nothing's been announced. I don't want to be that guy.
Man, would you do a warm-up show?
No, for sure. Yeah. I think.
I think you should do a warm-up show and doing it under a different name.
Really?
Seven Swords live at Fitzgerald's.
That's an idea.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
I should be your manager, bro.
Hey. That's an idea.
Seven Swords live at Fitzgerald's.
Honestly, we were thinking about doing a warm-up show, and
you need to do a warm-up show.
Obviously, yeah.
For a big event like that, yeah.
Right. We were already planning that, but to do it under a different moniker and maybe do like a secret show, that'd be pretty cool. The other side of this band is once we actually play live, we want to make it an actual show. You're not going to see a bunch of dudes in fucking street gear fucking around with their instruments. You're
Walmart shoes and shit.
Yeah, you're going to see an actual show.
Good. That's very important. That's very, very important. Let's talk about videos now. You guys released a video for Seven Swords, Seven Sorrow, shot at Bonds 007. Now, our Bonds Rock Bar. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the last video ever shot there.
That is the last video shot at Bonds.
Really?
Yeah, that is the last one. Bonds appears in that video. The Lord's Grotto appears in that video. Eddie's backyard appears in that video. You just can't tell it's his backyard.
Eddie's apartment also appears in that video.
Yeah, Eddie was
I don't
a
know what you guys
mastermind.
are talking about.
Yeah, exactly. These are trade secrets. No, but our new guitar player is the videographer, and he's the one who made it. And
I saw some of the behind the scenes photos.
you would never know that the shit was being done in the west side of San Antonio unless we told you, because it looks like a professional shoot. And I think while we were doing that shoot, I realized that Eddie was like really into this music. He was really into the release, and that's one of the reasons why I brought him on board, because I knew he was a competent musician as well.
That's great.
Well, not even just that, but I mean, like, both him and Mike are film buffs to the core. So, like, I already know they share that same passion for, like, cinematography and things like that. So I knew right away that would click.
Guys, I totally empathize, because that's how I feel when I interview my favorite bands.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel the same way. I'm like, I'm all into it.
He did our the video for Black Jackal, and I took it upon myself to become that director, and I was fucking telling people what to do, and it felt amazing. I was like, this is what I needed to be. If I wasn't a musician, I'd be a director.
So did that dude set up the shoot at Bonds, or?
No, that was me actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You know, with John? Or?
Yeah, I hit up John.
John, and what did he say?
I mean, we've been playing forever. He was like, well, how much time do you need? And, of course, John was all partied out for the night before, and he showed up a little late, and, but we got things done. Everything was, all's well that ends well.
All in all, I think we shot in, like, 4 different places, all at various times throughout a month or so.
Wow, that's cool.
My biggest thing was like, well, what about that giant pillar in the middle of the stage? And my solution is like, let's turn it into a crucifix.
Exactly.
And it became like this main piece of the video, so that worked out well.
Would you like to do any more videos in support of this record?
We have a few planned.
Oh, yeah.
We have a few planned. We're not really sure which direction to take
For
it
When Night
as
Gives
of
Way
yet.
Today?
We might be doing a live set. Recorded live set, so
In the studio or something, or just
no,
just
like a live setting.
Yeah,
with, recording the set and turning that into like a video, a live video, and that would be what 6 songs is we have planned for the set.
That would be cool.
Hopefully in a chapel.
That would be cool.
Hopefully, if we plan it right, then we can.
That would be cool.
Totally release the way we have it.
Mike, keep me abreast of that, man. I'd like to be involved in that. I mean, just to go and take pictures or
for sure.
some video,
Of course.
to help promote the video.
Of course.
Yeah. Let me know. That sounds cool. Great idea. And I think that this record deserves more video promotion, because we just live in that day and age where video is important.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's very important. And this record is so great, man. I love this record.
And it was one of those things like, oh, should we record like just one song and a single, or do we want to do like a live set?
I would say, and I think too, if you want the people to,
and I really want to showcase the live portion of the band, to showcase like what we can offer to these festivals. Because I don't want to just sit here and be like, oh, we're only going to do festivals. Like we're too good to do underground bands, but don't have any show. Like we want to prove that
check out
we're
our
worthy.
video. Check out how sexy Devin is.
I've had a lot of comments that Devin is the eye candy
sexy,
of that video.
If I'm the eye candy, y'all are all fucking blind.
If you're the eye candy, I'm the eye broccoli.
Devin, I saw the video for the video on Seven Swords. What kind of guitar is that you're playing?
Man, I'm gonna be completely honest. That's a fucking Ibanez Geo 7-string.
Strat.
That's totally beat the fuck up. I go out for $100, but like I just modded it out. I just changed a lot of parts in it.
Yeah.
Put a mirror pick guard in it. Put some locking tuners, some new like bridge saddles, a graph tech nut, like just little upgrades. But yeah, that thing's been a fucking workhorse. Y'all guys wouldn't believe it, but man, sometimes cheap guitars are better than more expensive guitars,
believe you,
man.
If you mod them right.
Look, man, if you mod them, but
you mod 'em.
the main point is if the neck feels good, if the neck needs if the neck does what you need it to do, you'll be fine. The body's fucking whatever. You can work with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had a lot of fun just experimenting with it and doing all that. I mean, because I've always wanted an Ibanez Universe. That's my dream guitar. But
You
it's
like
also
Strats?
like, I like any kind of like super
Okay,
Strat,
okay.
like old Charvels.
Yeah. Old Charvels are cool.
Anything like that. But I recently got into 7 strings, and so I just, I guess, wanted an excuse to use it, and this band totally fucking fits to use it. But yeah, that's all it is. I call it the ghetto verse.
Cool. I'll show you some of my guitars before you leave tonight, man.
Right on.
I got a couple cool guitars.
Devin is definitely the gearhead of the band. I don't know any of that shit.
I'm not really a gearhead. I'm just more of a guitar nerd. I'm like, ooh, look at that fucking thing.
Yeah, that's so cool. All right, guys, as we end out, I want to thank each of you for giving of yourselves, not only to this interview, but of your corazon in all the things that you shared tonight. It's very, very important for our show because I think that's what makes Rob special, is because people come on here and they really share. They really share about how they feel about music and their careers and our scene. And to me, that's the most important thing. So as we end out, I want to give each of you an opportunity, and let's start with Devin. I want to give each of you an opportunity to share any thank yous, any love, any gratitude to people who have helped you along your career.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, just thank my bandmates, Mike especially. This dude's been like a big brother to me ever since I got here. Shout out to my friends at Market Amethyst back home. Love y'all. Love you, Scarlett.
In Fort Worth?
Yeah. I mean, my family, all the homies down here, all the bands we keep working with and hanging out with, and, continuing to do great things. Anybody who's got a real passion for this, we see it, we know it, we recognize it, and we share it with you. And that's all that we really fucking want. It's the only thing that's real. So
thank you for sharing that.
I think first and foremost, I'd like to thank my fucking self for having the balls to do shit and expose yourself to fucking people and not be a little bitch about things like, oh, we only do death metal because
Michael Alcala.
Yeah.
Te quiero.
No, I love my friends. I love my bandmates. I couldn't do any of this shit without Devin, or I couldn't do any of this shit without the people that I keep close to me. They're just as big a part of the equation as I am. And I know a lot of this stuff is all like self-serving, you know what I mean? They're doing it because I'm their friend. They're doing it because they believe in me, and that means a lot to me.
They do believe in you, and they, like I said earlier, they believe in the vision of what you have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. That's a lot. You don't have to express it in words when actions speak louder than them.
Thank you. Thanks, Devin.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for having us again.
Thank you, Michael.
Love you, brother.
Again, for another stellar, deep interview, man. I was really excited to have you back here. Because you know what, dude? You know what I love about you?
What's that?
That you're just real, dude. You're a real dude.
That's why I love this guy.
And
I keep hearing that.
You're a real dude, even though you're from the gritty side of the metal scene. And I hope that our work together, seriously, and I'm not just being facetious here, I really hope that our work together will help bring the two sides closer together.
Me too.
So that people realize, in
a fake world, look for the real ones.
Life's too short, and each side is too small, to be apprehensive or have to have separation, bro.
The world is hard. Be harder.
I try not to be hard because I want to love people.
Oh, I mean, I don't mean hard and
Like, hey,
people.
yeah.
Just, again, fake macho bullshit. I just mean be true to yourself, man. You know, recognize things for what they are, and
and be happy.
Yeah, be
happy.
Be happy.
Be
Who
happy.
you are.
Be productive.
Happy.
Be fucking
If
good.
you can't show your emotions in front of the ones you love, then you can't show them to anybody. You're a fake fucking person.
Exactly.
Well, guys, thank you so much. And I know that this record, Ruminations of Ruin, will continue to bring you guys nothing but continued positivity and success. And I can't wait to see you guys play live. I will be very, very happy to witness it, because you guys are, this record, Ruminations of Ruin, is a great piece of music, and I want to see you guys play it live. So all you people out there, everyone out there who's watching this interview around the world, don't forget the new record from Marble Orchard is called Ruminations of Ruin. It's called Ruminations of Ruin. Be sure to look for it right now after you finish watching this interview. You saw the band only right here on Rob's Metalworks.